started. So
Okay,
just to fill everyone in, we've just sidetracked. We just had another discussion. And essentially what we've been talking about is David Goggins. This is just how it started. Martin's been running and so have I, but I've stopped because I've been injured. However, Martin was feeling injured and still ran anyways. And go explain your point of view, Martin.
Okay, so my point is the following. I think everything that you do in any sense, in any topic of your life, has to go towards a goal that you have, right? So in my case, I used to do like gym and run and all these kind of sports. First of all, for aesthetics, like to look good, and secondly for my body health, right? But when I started like watching podcasts and reading the book of David Goggins, Can Hurt Me, now he launched another book that I haven't read yet called I'm Not Finished, I think. Well, in this book and the podcast, he talks about training for your mind and your mindset more than for your body. It's not that you're not training for your body because you're making your body a fucking machine, but it's not like the primary goal. So what does he mean by this? So for example, today I went for a run. My goal was to go for a 20 kilometers run. As soon as I did the first step, as soon as I got out of my building, man, my ankle was hurting, my hip was hurting, my waist was hurting, my shins were hurting, and my knees were hurting. Everything was hurting so badly from the first step. But because I've been training this way and in this like mindset kind of training instead of healthy kind of training, I said, fuck it. And I went anyways. It was hurting. Kilometer 1 still hurting. Kilometer 2 still hurting. By kilometer 2, there was like a huge uphill. I kept running. My pace was going. It was not the best. It wasn't quick, but I still kept going. And I think that's what he means. And that's something I share. Like it will hurt, but you just keep going because you're not done, man. And that was what I was replaying in my head, like on loop. You're not done. You're not done. You're not done. Keep going. Keep going. And the thing is, by kilometer 10, all the hurt went away. I wasn't feeling the hurt anymore. So imagine if I had given up at the first step when I was feeling the hurt for the first time. At kilometer 1 when I could have thought this pain is not going away. Or at kilometer 2 when I again could have said this pain is not going away. Or at kilometer 8, I would have given up and I wouldn't have finished my goal. But I kept going, and at kilometer 10, the pain went away. And then there was another problem that I think it's also super related to this topic. So my issue was that at kilometer 12, more or less. Okay, so a little bit of background on my running. So I have a super good metabolism.
Yeah.
And whenever I'm running, even though my mind is like, keep going, you can do this, Martin, don't give up, you're not done, whatever, that like is like replaying in my head. So I don't give up, even if I'm hurting, even if I'm tired, I just keep going. But my asshole doesn't think the same.
Oh, right.
I could literally run just 2 kilometers and I would need to go to a bathroom so quickly, and I just cannot hold it. I cannot hold it.
Bro, this went
MG's on the
But and I've done that like a lot of times. I've gone for like 4 kilometers run, and I stopped and walked home because I wasn't able to keep running. I literally wasn't, like, I felt I was going to shit myself if I kept running. It has happened to me with 10 kilometers, 4 kilometers, 8 kilometers, 12 kilometers, whatever. And now I was in my 20 kilometers run, and by kilometer 12 I started feeling it. And today was the first time that I said, fuck you, Martin, you're gonna keep running, motherfucker. and I kept running, man. I kept running. um 13 kilometers, 14 kilometers, it started hurting. Like my stomach was hurting so badly, but I didn't care. I like just call out that part of the pain, and I just kept running. At kilometer 18, if I remember correctly, like I was literally about to shit myself. I stopped 10 seconds. I did the best I could to like pull it back up, kept running. It came down again, and I just kept running, just all this. And I finally made the 20 kilometers, got home. I did like a little bit less than 2 hours, might have been like an hour and 50 minutes or something. And man, imagine I would have given up, and I think everything ends up there. Like imagine I would have given up. From the first step, when my ankle was hurting, when my hips were hurting, my shin was hurting. Imagine I given up when I started to have to want to poo. I would have not made my goal. I would have not accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. So
and how
that's
terrible
about
would have that
training
been?
your mindset.
And how terrible would have that been?
It depends. For me, it's not the 20 kilometers goal, but what it represents. I finished my 20 kilometers even though all my lower body was hurting. I finished my 20 kilometers even though I was about to shit myself from kilometer 12. Having that in mind, now I can, next time I do 20 kilometers again, I can know I can still manage to do it, and I can still manage to keep going even though it might be hurting. I might be in pain. I might be about to shit myself. I'm able to do whatever I want to do. I'm able to do it. I've already proved it, So next time I want to achieve something that I actually cared about. Imagine if I was like in a race that I actually cared about, and I wouldn't have stopped. Like, and why should that be different in training? And then you can take this for life. Like, it's not only about running. Then you take this to other places, and you're like, oh, it's hurting a little bit, not in like a physical way, but I feel a little bit uncomfortable doing this because whatever, and then you don't do it.
No, I really do agree with you. I think, I actually agree wholeheartedly on the point where you're saying that running is a mindset thing. That's my favorite part about exercise, actually, training the mindset. I love training in the morning. And one of the reasons I like training in the morning is because I'm tired. And when I'm tired, I want to say no. Like, I don't want to do that extra push up, or I don't want to go that extra K, or, but it's good to push yourself and to come on, you freaking do it. And I don't know, the feeling, it's always been the feeling of accomplishing, or like going past my own mental barriers has always been fantastic for me, really. But
yes, man.
The one bit of contentiousness, the one bit of point where I'm just like, I just don't agree with the David Goggins ethos is this whole, you have to always push past the pain. Sometimes I think pain is an indicator telling you to slow down and to stop. Like, you have to know what pain is pain that you push past, and it's just your mind talking, and what pain is like, okay, I understand this is actually like, because my issue is I love to push past everything. I will push myself to the point of injury, which will stop me running for 2 months. And I've done it before, that's my issue. Not the whole, like, if my ankle's hurting and I can run and then it will be fine. And then but like my hip, for example, right now, if I run, I might get a hip injury and then I struggle walking for the next 2 days. And then running sucks. Like, it just sucks every time. So I might like really do damage. That's the kind of injury that I'm talking about. But if I'm just sore, stuff it, push past that. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Man, all this discussion and talking has got me really thinking about how I'm personally not always seeking to surpass myself, and
My connection went away. Can you catch me up like the last minute?
No, yeah, all this talking has got me thinking about how. Oh, did you finish listening to what Chavi said?
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
I
So
just missed
all
you.
this conversation has me thinking about how at least in the exercise realm, I don't feel the same pleasure from surpassing myself in a way I couldn't think I could. Um I don't know. It's got me thinking like why am I wired that way, or do I just don't know that pleasure that well? I feel like I'm much more laid back and comfortable with steady progress, giving my 80%, not my 100%, but just being able to go back the next day, and being consistent, of course, because I want to see results. But like, I'm not in a rush. I I'm generally calm about it, and eventually I'll see results. I keep reminding myself that. But yeah, like even going through the barrier of pain, it's not something that seems attractive to me at first instance.
Yeah, it might be also that I am a little bit of a masochist. I do I do like pain. I do like to suffer, and mostly in physical ways. Like for example, last weekend I went to do a hike here in Madrid. I slept in like in the outside side, the vivac. I don't know if that's a term in English. But I basically just slept on the outside in the wild. And the thing is, I did a hike the whole day.
With a tent.
No, without a tent, but with a sleeping bag.
Right, like midwinter in the
No, it's not
mountain
midwinter.
country.
It's like getting. We're
It's getting warm now.
we're in spring not right now.
Oh, spring.
It's
Okay.
getting it's getting warmer, yeah. And my
Right.
my sleeping bag is pretty good. It's pretty good. But the thing is, the whole day before that night that I slept in the wild and whatever, I did a hike, and it was a pretty long hike and super exposed. I started at like 10 a.m. So the sun was pretty hot, and I kept walking the whole day up until like 5 p.m. when the sun went away. And I didn't put sunscreen on myself, so I got really sunburned. So like it's still like a little bit sunburn, but it was like really red, like raw meat. So I came back to my house. I came back to my place. I got into a hot shower because I got into a hot shower, and every time I would put my neck in the water, it would hurt so bad. So I was trying to like not touch the water with my neck, but I don't know why. At some point, I realized, man, this is hurting, and encourage the pain. Go through it. So I just put my neck. I put my neck in the hot water with my like burnt neck, and it was hurting. But after 15 seconds, man, I was feeling nothing, and that felt so good, man.
Yeah, I love that feeling too. I couldn't agree more. Man, that's one of my favorite parts of my day is my morning. Because in the morning I do like all the physically, exhausting stuff usually. Like the cold shower. I love cold water. Like I just do. Because I know that like it's such like it sucks in the moment. Or for at least the first 15 seconds or 20 seconds or whatever it is, right? It's like your body screams at you almost. And I love that whole, like, if you get over that scream, then you feel really calm. And once you feel really calm, it's actually the cold water exposure is actually really good for your health as well. So like, it's such a beautiful metaphor for life.
Right. No, I completely agree. I guess I don't stretch that feeling to other things and other places that are just explained by masochism. Like
But
I know
it's
the
not
benefit. Wait,
masochism itself.
I know the benefits to cold showers, and I'm even taking cold showers for 2 months now.
Go Santi.
And for your information, Martin, straight from the start, I just took the chance because it's summer here, so it's actually really good to go into cold showers from the start. And yeah, the first 10 minutes are helpless. What helpless? Like it's pure pain, but then
10 minutes.
it's good. No, 10 seconds. I meant.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, we do it
I-
different in
For
Chile.
10
We
minutes,
do it
this
different in Chile.
sucks.
In
I
Chile,
was like,
yeah.
I don't even do 10 minutes with hot water, right?
No. But no, I've been doing cold showers, but I know the benefits. That's my point. So
Yeah.
I don't see pleasure and pain, but instead focusing on what will eventually come from that small.
Cool.
Okay, I will tell you about all the benefits that come with any kind of pain. So I don't know if you know Chris Williamson, right? He's like the podcast host of. Okay, he says something, and I agree. Yeah, when we saw like the 16 lessons he learned on. Yeah, you remember?
That's why I said ish, because I've only ever heard him once. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he has a clip, and I agree with him so much. And it is, you're gonna go through life, and you're gonna get heartbroken. Your mom's gonna die. Your dad's gonna die. Your brothers are gonna die. Your friends are gonna distance. You're not gonna have the best relationship. Your teacher is not gonna be the best with you. Your business is gonna break. It's gonna how do you say it? Like
Fail.
It's gonna go bankruptcy. Whatever. Fails are gonna come to your life. It will be your fault sometimes. It won't be your fault other times, and you have no way to change that. That's just life. The only thing you can change to surpass those pains in the future is to start putting yourself through pain right now, like conscious pain.
Whoa.
Because you start like developing this endurance of pain, of just any kind of pain. And I've really felt it, like you start becoming a super stoic person in all the kinds. I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. I don't disagree. I think putting yourself in uncomfortable scenarios is very good. I actually like
because that's also a kind of pain.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, uncomfortable is like a pain is inherently uncomfortable. People try to avoid it. So uncomfortable, pain, almost interchangeable for me, really. However, the extent to which you push that, I don't know. Like, I think for me, the way that I do it is I love this is why I love meditation. Because meditation teaches you to have a different relationship, but not just with pain, with all emotions, it's just a different perspective that things come and go. Just as pain comes and goes, so does happiness. So I agree with Chris Williamson, but I think also we have to include happiness in that discussion, or like the other side of that spectrum, and know that everything comes and goes, and that you have to have it, like learn how to have a healthy experience with all emotions.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's why I want to come back to what I was saying in the beginning, that you can have different purposes from what you're doing, the actions you're taking towards. So maybe it's this mind endurance thing, and I think that's my path right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to endure my mind. So I'm just going like for like super wild. Well, not super wild for some people. 20 kilometers is not that much, but like a month ago, I wasn't able to do 5 kilometers and not end up tired. So now I'm like doing 15 kilometers, 20 kilometers. Probably this week, someday I will do 25 kilometers. I'm taking cold showers. I'm going to the gym every day as well. Also, like apart from running, I'm waking early every day. I'm like doing all these things. I'm reading every day. I'm doing all these things because I know they will be good for me in the future, even though I might be uncomfortable now and I'd be in kind of pain now. I know they will be good in the future for me. And the thing is, you may feel uncomfortable now, and you might feel some pain right now. But as soon as I stop doing this kind of things, like for just a week, for just a weekend or whatever, I start feeling shitty, man. Like I start feeling like I'm not progressing.
As soon as you don't do it for a week.
Yeah, for example, like 2 weeks ago, I went just for like vacations for the weekend to the north of Spain, and even though I had an amazing time, like it was just party. Well, I did surf, but just friends, food, party, tourism. I didn't run. I did have cold water because I was in the beach, but I didn't run. I didn't do any kind of like exercise other than surfing. I didn't read that much, to be honest. Like I just was super comfortable. I was eating super good. I was partying. I was having fun with friends. I was having beers. I was in the beach. And even though I was having a ton of fun, there was like another side of my mind that was like, man, you're wasting time. Like you're like decreasing your level in a sense. Like I don't know, man. It's weird. It might.
Do you see it as an issue that?
Yeah, I remember. I woke. I try to put alarms those days to go for runs in the mornings before the day. But as I had partied the night before, I just couldn't wake up the time. And you know.
What I meant is, do you see it an issue? Not that in that scenario. What I was trying to ask you is, don't you think that it's perfectly normal for you to go a few days without compressing your or putting yourself through that morning routine, like, and just living the present?
Yeah. Again, I had a ton of fun. I like it was amazing, but that doesn't change the fact that I felt like those days were like taking me a couple steps back in my progress path, you know?
Yeah.
But progress until when? Like, when do you expect to stop feeling that way and have reached a point where you've progressed enough and now you can be 100% in the moment without having that worry in the back of your mind?
I don't want to sound like a Goggins fanboy, even though I am, but the second book of Goggins is called "I'm Not Finished" or I've never finished or something, and it's just this mindset that David Goggins talks about it a lot, and I also agree with him so much. Like everyone needs to have like, oh, when I do this marathon, then I'll be done. When I do this half marathon, I'll be done. When I reach this position in this company, I'll be done. When I have a family, I'll be done. And it's like, no, man, you're never done. You're never finished. You just keep going,
I
keep
agree.
going, keep going, keep going.
You always have new projects.
Yeah, and I don't need to stop running. Like I don't see why you would think that I need to reach a point to stop running. Just in this example, or doing cold showers or whatever. It's just not doing it feels bad to me because I feel like I'm not taking advantage of all the things that I could be doing right now to improve myself in the future. But that doesn't mean that improving is towards something. You're just improving for the sake of improving.
I completely agree with that. I just, don't you see an issue in living that perfectly good weekend, as you said, in the north of Spain? Don't you see an issue in having that in the back of your mind, saying, I should be doing something else, I'm losing time, while you're living
no.
perfectly good moment to which you built for, and now it's time to just enjoy that moment and hopefully not lose, like not have your mind somewhere else.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. My mind was in the moment, and I enjoyed it, and I don't regret anything. I
Oh.
just would have liked to wake up early those days to go for a run. And even though I tried, I just couldn't get out of bed.
But you don't regret not having done so.
No, I don't. I don't regret that
Oh,
weekend. It
I
was
understood that.
amazing.
I understood that. I
But
understood that.
I still have that voice in my head that tells me, "Come on, man, go for a run, go for a run,
Right.
get into the
Okay,
cold water."
That's
Like,
that's actually exciting. But you're not put away. You're not put off by that voice in the moment.
No,
you're
I'm not.
just
I'm not.
reminded.
It's just a voice,
Okay.
man.
Okay.
Keep
Perfect.
improving. You're not doing it. You're
Right.
not doing it. You're not running.
Right.
Go for a run.
Okay.
Go for a
Okay.
run. Go for a
Okay.
run. Go for a run. You're too
Yeah.
comfortable. Get into the cold water. It's like repeating over and
Okay.
over.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. It's basically like a habit, or it's internalized for you now. That's
Man, when
beautiful.
I finished reading Goggins, the first book of Goggins, I had like fucking David Goggins in my head talking to me the whole fucking day long for like 2 weeks. And after like 2 weeks, the voice of David Goggins started becoming my voice. And now it's like I'm talking to myself. Motherfucker, keep running, motherfucker.
What it sounds like to me, and this is why I don't entirely agree with David Goggins, because I think it's so heavily rooted in the American ethos, is that there's an uncomfortable nature. There's like an uncomfortable relationship with stillness and doing nothing.
What's that?
There's I think there's a subtle uncomfortable relationship with doing nothing. And it's almost like we've gone from comfortable with, like, the normal human is comfortable doing nothing, uncomfortable pushing. Now you've just switched them. You've just gone, okay, now I'm comfortable doing something.
Wow.
And I'm uncomfortable doing nothing. Sadly, we're now at this stage where we're still uncomfortable with something. And I don't think it's bad, but like I'm not talking about, okay, this is hard to word, but like you're uncomfortable in your mind now, not in your actual physical. Like you've now dealt with the physical uncomfortable version, and in the perception of your mind, you're now comfortable with that. Does that make sense? Does that, are you catching on to that?
Let
me finish. I got
that makes sense, but I understand what you're trying to say.
but I think in life, and this is my goal, is to be in my mind perceived to be comfortable with both. Because I do want to be still, to enjoy. Imagine there was 2 weeks of my life where okay, let's take an example. I broke my hip. I couldn't do anything. Where do I get my joy from in that moment? Does my mind wander and think about the dreams, successes, and visions that I could be doing, things where I could be, or am I happy with where I am? That's like, I think, and that's why this is the reason why
we talked about
David Goggins, because it's all about continuous success. And I don't think continuous success is the root. It should be the root of happiness, personally.
I don't think it matters if it should or it shouldn't. I think it is, man. If you don't have a goal to work towards it, that's when people start getting, in my opinion, that's when people start getting depression. They start getting like existentialist or nihilist. How do you say in English? Like nihilist, nihilist. Yeah. People need a goal, man. It is what any kind of goal, but they need it and they need to work toward it. Otherwise, they just don't feel like living.
But people are comfortable moving at different paces towards that goal.
Yeah, of course, and different goals. Again, for David Goggins, for example, the goal is just to callous his mind and be mind over matter all the time. Like his mind doesn't control him; he controls him.
So he sets a pace towards working towards goals, right?
He doesn't set a pace. He doesn't tell you go run 100 miles like I did. He just tells you take control of your fucking mind, so your mind doesn't control you. And when you're uncomfortable trying to achieve something, you can say, "Fuck you, I'm gonna do it."
I think I think this is what Santi's saying, is like the pace of success, like the pace of your goals. like continuous improvement. There's no halting. There's not a moment where you're just like, okay, it's just like, no, I've reached my goal now, next one. Keep going. Otherwise, when I stop and when I don't have that next goal, that's when it's like shit hits the fan.
Yeah, but I guess it depends. For people that just wanna like be happy, eat pizza, have a family, play video games. Obviously, David Goggins is not the best role model. David Goggins is the best role model to people that wants to improve themselves day by day. I think you have different role models to different kind of goals, and David Goggins is not going to teach you how to enjoy life, and or maybe yes, like I feel like I haven't been dissatisfied with my life in a long period of time, and I think it's thanks to him for the most part. But it's just a different kind of fulfillment. Other people feel super good just playing video games and eating pizza all day long. I've never been those kind of guys.
Yeah, no,
but I know there are.
Yeah.
I know there are. You know, and they just, for them, it just doesn't make sense, David Goggins. And of course, for a lot of other people, it doesn't also make sense, David Goggins. Go something.
Yeah. No, I've tried to talk with my parents about David Goggins, and they're immediately put off by his message. I haven't read the book. I've just listened to one interview by him. Even the face they make immediately as soon as I tell them about that run he did where he ended up bleeding out his ass, like they're just disgusted by the idea of that, like just going through with everything and finding pleasure in pain. I think I couldn't discuss it further with them because they were like so against it, and we just ended up changing the subject. But I see, for example, I'm just gonna give the example of my dad. Like, he's never gone through that harsh pain and struggle to reach or better himself. But I really feel like he's extremely satisfied with life. He's pretty much laid back for the most part when he's not working. And when he's working, he finds passion in his work and delivering, and it has to do with making society better, and that's a goal for him. So he gets on through with it, and then when he's back home, he just watch the show or I'm thinking a lot about him because I feel like he's someone that's satisfied. He's not a gamer that eats pizza all day and plays video games. He sure likes bettering himself, but he's not following David Goggins. So I'm trying to like figure out what's the thing that David Goggins proposes that.
No, David Goggins is not giving you like the key to happiness or success or life. No one is, and anyone that says is giving you like this is the one advice that will make your life the best one is just lying. David Goggins, what is David Goggins' message? Is you want to achieve something, fucking words toward it, and don't let your mind get comfortable so you don't achieve what you want to achieve. Yeah. That if I could resume his message, like all his books, all his podcasts, in just a couple sentences, it would be that. But and that doesn't apply to everyone, and it surely doesn't apply to your dad because of what you just said. I don't think it does describe to my dad either. I do think it kind of applies to me in a sense that I do see the joy on going through the barriers of my own mind, because they're at the end of the day they're just that you think you cannot do something and then you do it. It's like when people tells you you won't be able to achieve this, you won't be able to do this, and then you do it anyways, and it feels so rewarding.
Yeah,
it's like it's the same. With the only difference that now it's not other people, it's you. You're telling yourself you're not gonna make it, you're not gonna make it, you're not gonna make it. But if you push through it, you're gonna make it. And I think that's for me personally, and I know for a lot of people, but not for everyone, but for me personally, I find a lot of joy in that.
Yeah, No, same. Yeah, I definitely find joy in that. I love, like, as much as I'm trying to, guess, like, rub against what you're saying, I actually agree personally. Very, very similar. Yeah, I love pushing past my own barriers. And you know what? I like proving other people wrong, but the person I like to prove wrong the most is myself. It's freaking great.
Yeah,
You know? Yeah. But I mean, yeah, look,
Hmm.
the reason why we're talking about David Goggins and all that kind of stuff is just that we're trying to discuss mindset, optimum mindset in terms of success and the balance
yeah,
of,
but I think
you
that's
know,
where we get it wrong, because I think yes, but there's one key piece missing there is um what's the best mindset to have, but towards what. So I think that's the first part. Towards what. So if you don't have that clear, then don't search for a role model yet. Don't watch David Goggins, don't watch Jordan Peterson, don't watch Joe Rogan, don't watch Elon Musk, don't watch anyone if you're not clear on what your goals are.
I
Once
think,
you have your goals,
yeah,
then you can see, then you can start seeing different mindsets to have towards that goal.
but right now I think
That's
what we're
interesting.
talking about
Yeah.
is just the simple enjoyment of life, you know, like
If that's your goal, then yeah, don't look,
I think
don't look, don't even think about looking Goggins. You're not gonna
but that's what
enjoy
you're
it.
doing, like, and that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that you're actually this is what I thought, is that you're watching David Goggins is because you're trying to find some type of fulfillment, and the type of
Yeah,
fulfillment
but
you're feeling.
it's
No, but I'm
different
just
kind
saying
of joy. When I'm talk about joy, I mean like comfortness, like watching a series, like eating junk food, like not necessarily eating junk food, but like feeling comfortable, feeling good, feeling happy. You won't get that from David Goggins, even though you will. I feel fulfilled.
but
I
you
don't
don't
feel
feel
like that.
fulfilled. Like, this is what we're literally talking about. We're talking about what is the best mindset. We're trying to find, like, okay, what's the fulfilling mindset? And what you're saying is that
Okay, the
whole
fulfilling
TV
mindset,
thing
that's different.
isn't the
Okay.
fulfilling mindset. You're saying that that comfort doesn't give you joy. What does make you feel fulfilled is pushing past the boundaries that you've predetermined, that you set for yourself. That's your fulfillment. And that's why you love Goggins, is because he teaches you and guides you to push yourself further. And what I think Santi's saying is that his model, his role model being his father, has a different
Yeah.
perspective fulfillment. It's more, I guess,
No.
balanced. It's more, like, yes, you've got your goals,
Yeah.
dreams, and visions, but you've also got TV.
Yeah.
No.
And that's fair,
Yeah.
man.
No.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's fair.
I really.
Everyone has.
I've never heard something like what Martin said, because I'm generally listening to guys like David Goggins or Elon Musk or Jordan Peterson. So none of them are saying don't listen to us if you haven't set your own goals first. I think that's very interesting, in that once you've set your own goals, and maybe because, for example, this conversation has now led me to think that I don't find much pleasure, or has made me um question if I find pleasure at all in pain, and like going through those barriers that you two find a lot of pleasure in. But for example, I do find a lot of pleasure in, I don't know, the building a very like uh strong relationship with a friend, or being generally kind. And maybe David Goggins is not talking about being kind to other people, and so then I need to find that role model, or mentor that is adjusted to whatever fulfills me. um I think that's a very interesting exercise.
Yeah, I think you got it. You got it perfectly. But I don't. I also don't want you to like miss. Like you can still be kind to people and push through pain. Those are not related.
No,
Mutually
absolutely.
exclusive.
I'm not saying that at all. No. No, and you can
Yeah.
listen to David
Just to be
Goggins without generally finding fulfillment in what he, like. You could, there's takeaways from everyone.
Yeah,
Um,
always. Yeah, I agree.
always, all the time. So, but I thought it was interesting what you both said about finding a role model that fits your whatever you see
Now,
as. what gives you fulfillment?
I do think that most people that don't, maybe not all, but most people that don't find pleasure in pain, it's because they just haven't been exposed to pain, to that much
Now
pain
that's
yet.
different.
Because or uncomfortableness. Is that the word? Uncomfortableness. Anyway, I want to remember something when we went to Andorra, and we skied. Like, how scared were you? How much you were like not enjoying, actually hating the ski and everything. And then as soon as
That's
you got a
horrible.
little bit of exposed, you started enjoying it so much. I think that's exactly what happens to a lot of people. Like, of
But-
course, someone that has never run in his whole life will run 1 kilometer and will say, shit, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. But if they keep going, there will be an inflection point in which they will start saying, okay, I'm starting to like this. I'm pretty sure most people will.
But see, that's a very good example to what I'm trying to say. And that is, if I could go back to Andorra and live it the same, or live the experience again, I'm not quite sure. I'd say, yeah, let my friends push me down the ski slope and just take a bunch of hits, and I'll learn much quicker, and I'll end up the day having done more runs than if they hadn't. But yeah, like I'm not sure I'd like to do the same. Looking back, like of course I had a lot of fun, man. And I could remember that the progress they made was exciting for sure. But there was a reason my brain was telling me, bro, you can't just jump into the ski slope where people are going 40 miles an hour, 40 kilometers an hour. I crashed into someone that could have ended bad. I really couldn't tell where the ski slope ended. So for in my head, because I hadn't done it before, if I had just misstepped or couldn't stop for a second, in my head, I was like rolling down the hill for sure. So like those messages that my brain was telling me, I also normally tend to listen to those messages and respect those messages, because in my past and my upbringing has shown me that it can be useful sometimes. I think I would have reached, knowing myself, a similar level of fulfillment of that day if I had just gone to the easy tracks, maybe had an instructor tell me how to stop, and then maybe just done once the big slope. I think my level of fulfillment came from just being in Andorra with you guys. It's not hard for me to say it. I'm actually quite sure about this. My level of fulfillment was determined by being there in the first place. And yeah, just getting to know the place.
I don't believe you, man.
being-
Sorry.
I'm actually really sure about this. Like I know myself.
I think you're
I don't
lying
know.
to yourself.
No, I agree with
That's
something.
great. That's crazy. I feel very confident about what I'm saying. I feel very confident. Yeah, I think my
Most people do.
fulfillment came from. I think I know where my fulfillment comes from. And I didn't feel particularly amused at the fact that I crashed into someone. So
No,
it doesn't take
not the
away from the
crash.
incredible day we had. But no, not the crash, but it's just that's just an example I take to take into account the whole thing. It was an incredible day because my fulfillment came from other things in general and not the skiing itself. That's me.
I think your conscious is creating a narrative to what your subconscious felt that day. And I don't think you're seeing it correctly from my point of view, because just because I've been through what you went through, maybe it's just not being empathetic enough and understand that you might feel different than me. But I've been through what you went through that day, like being so fucking scared and then do it anyways. And I've done it like 1,000 times in the bicycle, hiking, in career, in everything, and just over like a repeated times that you do that kind of stuff, you start connecting the dots and saying, oh, actually, this is what I liked from it. Like you start connecting, oh, I wasn't comfortable, I did it anyways, I went through it, and I enjoyed that experience. And maybe you don't realize that connection right away, but when you start like going through these kind of situations, a lot of times you start connecting the dots. But maybe it's just me applying what you lived to what I lived. Maybe I'm just not putting myself in your position. I'm putting myself in your position instead of me being in your position.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Like, and of course, everyone could be writing, like, creating narratives in their heads all the time, but
I think we are. I am.
Yeah. Then it's irrelevant to say so. I mean, I truly believe what I said with that. And I've also done things before that I've been scared of, and it's proving to be good. But I don't get fulfillment.
Yeah, I wasn't saying you haven't.
No. I know you didn't. I just wanted to say that what I'm about to say. I've done it before, and I didn't get fulfillment at all from proving myself that I could have done it in the first place if I hadn't been scared. Instead, I like cherish that people were there. That's the first thing that comes to mind. People were there to be with me through that process. When I worked in the startup you did, Martin, maybe I was kind of scared to send that email at first. I never saw fulfillment in having gotten the internship because I was scared and I followed through. And like the scariness part and accomplishing it anyways doesn't bring me fulfillment at all, just like in Andorra. But instead, I cherish and I'm thankful that you insisted on that I did it. So I cherish our friendship. I cherish that I sent it anyways. Like I proved myself that even though sometimes it can be hard, I eventually will do it. I cherish that. Yeah, a lot of things come to mind that aren't about the scariness aspect of it.
But isn't what you just described that, like being scared or whatever reason you had to not send that email and then send it anyways?
No, I don't see it that way.
Okay.
You know what pain I wouldn't want to live again?
I will think more about. I will think more about it though. It's interesting. What pain? The bull testicle or
time that I
the
really
spicy
wanted
sauce?
to throw up on the train after Sweden. Or
I hate you, man. I hate you.
That sucked. That was like peak. Oh, did I really need to shit? I forgot what I needed to do. It just hurt. I just remember. And that, you know what? I would happily not live that again and be so happy with life.
That was so funny. That was coming back from the disgusting food museum, right?
Yeah, and when we had the hottest chilies in the world thing. Oh,
disgusting.
Yeah, but no, great discussion. I'll probably stop recording now. Santi, do you want to wrap us up?
Yeah, for sure. I loved how the.
No, but keep going. Just don't stop recording, but keep going.
I loved how I loved how today's installment was gonna start off and pick up from a subject next that we were talking about at the last of last week's episode. Or actually, I don't even know. Martin was gonna introduce it. Maybe we're gonna be talking about something completely different, and we've just gone and done an episode about what we started talking about out of asking each other for a 5-word summary of how we've been. So that's very nice to see. I had a lot of fun, and I'm actually gonna be thinking a lot this week about if I get fulfillment from the scary aspect, and it's made me think a lot about adrenaline. I know you like adrenaline as well, Martin. Xavi, I think you also like adrenaline. I tend to think that adrenaline itself doesn't fulfill me the same way as you guys. It's got me thinking. It's got me thinking. So this is the 3rd episode of Pro Science. Want to say goodbye, guys?
Wait, don't say goodbye yet. Yes, so yeah, we were about to. This episode was to keep with the last episodes because we didn't finish it. But let's fuck that. Next episode, we just do something else. But I wanted to say two things. First of all, rewatching the last episode, I noticed I said that China had a 0.4 birth rate. I was wrong. I was thinking on South Korea, and it was not 0.4 but 0.8. I'll try to not make those mistakes in the future, but I rather correct it than just leave it there.
Amen.
And the other thing is we have some news, guys. From today, Bro Science is available in Spotify.
Oh, let's go! Woo!
So we'll leave the link in the description. And yeah, see you next time.
Great. Love that. See you, everyone.
Okay, I'm gonna learn how to pause.